Welcome back to AKMU Shakti. I'm Abhimanyu Kalita, the co-founder, and here we are back again with another podcast, this time with a child psychologist, Mr. Shubham Lama. So let's get into the conversation with him and see what he has to say.
Good evening, everyone. This is Mr. Shubham Lama. Sir, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi guys, myself Shubham Dev Lama. I work as a high school counselor with Bishop Cotton School, Shimla. Talking about my educational background, I did my bachelor's from Ambedkar University, Delhi, Kashmiri Gate, and I think the core of my thought processes in terms of psychology and my fundamentals and my basics, I owe it to them. Then I did my master's from IIM University, Gurugram. I also did my PG diploma in guidance and counseling from Jamia Millia Islamia. In 2022, I completed my postgraduate diploma in rehabilitation psychology, which gives me an RCA license. So in India, to work as a psychologist, you need a license. Otherwise, you'll probably get caught up in a case like Sushant's counselor. So I have the license. I am good to go that way. And now, since 2 years, I've been working with BCS, and it's been a good journey.
Thanks.
Hello, sir. Sir, recalling your past, which is the most funniest incident that you could think of?
I think the most funniest recent incident, I would say, is when you come across psychologists and people from the same background who ethically and who basically ethically don't kind of stick to the kind of ethics we're supposed to follow. Or if I have to put it in a different way, we are bound to keep our confidentiality and we are bound to keep our ethics intact when we're doing counseling sessions. But in a recent interview or in a recent experience, I came across people who claim to be counselors and psychologists yet don't follow these kind of ethics which are very natural and must for a field like ours.
So, what do you have to say about teenage love and relationships?
From my perspective, because so I'll answer this in two sets.
Yes.
One is my own experiences. I feel it is very important for teenagers to experience love not at 17, 18, but around that time, a little late towards the teens. But I think we live in an Indian society and the mindset remains the same, that focus on your career first, focus on your family, don't get involved in these triangles of love and office and work and all these things. But I think it is a good experience. Everybody should at least once go through all sorts of happiness and agony which it has to provide.
Okay. So, sir, what do you think about the amount of pressure put into a student while he's preparing for a competitive exam by the parents or any such person?
From my personal experience, I had a lot of pressure growing up because my father was the third generation in the armed forces. So he wanted me to crack the NDA and then the CDS exam. But because it was not a field of my own choice, I didn't put in the effort. But the pressure which comes on you naturally because your family expects you to do something is way too high. And I think we, being in this 21st century, evolving with having so many kinds of fields available for us, we should be open to listening to what our children want to pursue. If you pursue something of your own choice, the competition doesn't seem competition. Whereas, like, let's say if you want to crack IIT, but somebody is telling you to crack medical exam, it will be a tough task for you. So yeah.
So, sir, do you support a child studying for 16 hours a day?
Never. I have always been a child who would study. I'm not trying to brainwash the youth, but who would study, let's say, 2 hours before the exam and 2 days before a final exam. That's all. My main focus always was to sit very quietly and understand the concepts being taught in the class. As long as you do that, You don't need to work extra hard after the classes and sit in your free time and then use that for studying. If you are attentive in the class, I don't think 16 hours is required. 2 hours max to max in a day is more than enough for any caliber, any child, anybody.
So, what are some effective strategies to help students develop leadership skills in your point of view?
I think leadership skills and leadership qualities can be assessed very early. Let's say in BCS, we choose prefects, we choose captains
Yes, sir.
because we see certain kind of skill sets in them. There are a lot of times when the boys think that maybe that guy was better than that guy in a certain sense, but the person assessing you comes from a place of experience. He sees that leadership quality in you. To promote such qualities, like let's say there's a child who doesn't have such qualities, what we could do is we could give him extra, or we could give him additional tasks and additional duties. Let's say you go for tours and treks. This year I remember I went with boys to Hamta Pass, and we had 4 different rows. One was headed by me, one by Mr. Sunil, one by Mr. Adiraj, and one by Mr. Pinoli. So we all had one individual each who would help the boys out. This individual was a child from their own batch. So we, in a way, found those boys who we thought had the good leadership qualities. Because we found those qualities, we wanted to explore if they would live up to the expectations which we have. And if they really do, then we recommend them to the staff, to the management, that these boys are good leaders. So I think the leadership qualities are not always in a school setup, in an educational manner. If we keep it outside that, in a naturalistic environment, it is a good opportunity for the boys. You are a part of this cricket team. You know who the captain is.
Yes, sir.
Is he a good leader or not? You would know
Yes,
that.
sir, he's a good leader.
Exactly. And how did he become a captain? With the experience.
Experience.
Because people trusted him by the mindset which he has, focus, everything, it all comes to play.
So, sir, what advice would you give to families for their children in becoming active or engaged in communities, their communities?
My family really didn't push me too much in that, or in this particular sector. How I got into this, or how I feel I experienced and benefited a lot, is I associated myself with an NGO. It was Prava. It works in Delhi. So we went for this youth excursion, or a 5 or 6 day excursion to Chamoli. I was doing my bachelor's from Delhi, and we went to Chamoli for 6-7 days. And the kind of exposure I had there, working with people from the village, understanding their mindset, understanding their problems, what seems basic to us is a luxury for them. When you understand things like these in a setup, I think it opens your mind to a lot of new experiences and new thoughts. And I have always tried to link myself with a community service or a NGO where I do things not for the camera but behind it, because a lot of times when you do things for the camera, it is for the likes, it is for your reach. When you do it without a camera, it is for your own happiness and content in life.
Sir, since you're a counselor, I need to ask you one thing. If there's a boy who wants to pursue his career in sports, but his family is insisting him to study, so how will you tackle that problem?
The best way is to show your worth and to excel in something which you are good at. Let's say you are good at cricket. The best way to prove your parents that you are good at it and you can pursue a career in it is by winning the tournaments you have in schools. Let's start with that. Then you go for zonals, then you go for districts, then you go for nationals. Once you compete in these levels, even if you lose, they'll see that you have a caliber and you are keen towards pursuing it. They'll see the kind of dedication you have. Secondly, when a person says I want to pursue sports, he needs to show that kind of attitude towards the sport on a daily basis. It doesn't come like a season, that today is a chilly day, so I won't play the sport, or I won't go for training, or today is a very hot day, so I don't want to challenge myself in terms of
Consistency is the key.
consistency, dedication, and prove yourself in front of your parents today the market is very big for any sport in India. Rather, esports also these days parents have started pushing their kids for. So I think physical sports should not be an issue at all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Right. Thank you
It
so
was
much.
a great time meeting you.
Same. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right. So this is a new segment that we have introduced into our podcast, wherein we'll have something like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, where we ask the host or the guest a few words, and they have to answer with whatever comes to their mind first. The first word for you, Mr. Lama, is commitment.
Fake in today's time.
Okay. So the second word is friends.
Friends. I have a lot of good friends, and I'm really thankful for that.
So the third word is a trip.
Mountains, straight away.
Love.
To be found.
Sport.
Basketball.
Ocean.
Serene.
Bishop Ordnance School.
Catonian.
What do you do when you're free?
I mostly surf through different OTT platforms, and I try to find a psychological thriller.
So counseling.
Kids. I love working with kids. I love making an impact. So yeah.
Movie.
The best which I feel, which comes to my mind straight away, is Seven. Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. Seven sins which a man.
Song.
Recently, I watched Laila Majnu movie, so I think that album is a good album to hear. But my all-time favorite artist would be Nusrat Ali Khan Saab.
So horse riding.
I'm little scared of it because I had the opportunity as a child. Father was in the army, but I couldn't pursue it, so a little scared, I would say.
Okay. Great.
Do you have any questions for us?
The one question which I would want to ask and understand is that where do you see yourselves going with this podcast? And let's say 2 years from now, where do you see yourselves in terms of the graph?
So I think this podcast is not for the greater opportunities or neither for views, right? This is a podcast for the youth. This is a podcast that resonates our ideas as youth that should come out to the youth that is watching us. I don't want a million views. I don't want 500k followers or things like that. It is started by our own NGO that we guys started together as a group of 30-40 boys, and we have spread across India as a whole. We are working with different orphanages. We are helping out orphans and things like that. So this podcast as a whole, we are getting guests on the podcast to tell or give a guide to the youth to tell them what they need. So in the next 10 years, I'd want fellow teenagers or the fellow youth to come and listen to us. And we are all looking and finding life, right? We are trying to understand life, even if most of us don't understand it. So I think there may be a small ray of hope for the youth.
Like you said, understanding but not able to understand. That is what teenage is all about. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
You explore, you see what your limits are, you see what your likes and dislikes are. Sometimes you go on the wrong path, you correct yourself, you come back, you talk to yourself when you're alone, you guide yourself, you reach out to people who you think are helpful, you fail, you try again, and then you succeed. So I think you guys have a very clear vision on how you want to progress and approach things. All the very best to you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
In case I can be of any help in future, I would love to help you guys out.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
sir.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you.